Hi guys! Today let's talk about this cool space I discovered in Tokyo. I've moved here from Canada about a year, actually exactly a year. There's something always make me feel really impressed about the city here is how the space is used and designed in Tokyo. Because of this cool space, I look into the city a little bit more. I realize because of the COVID situation and the Olympic in 2020, there are a lot of places in Tokyo is unoccupied. For example, a lot of commercial spaces. In this episode, I want to bring you to this super edgy space in Aoyama and the story behind this space, because there's a really cool project behind it. I find out this spot because the architect exhibition, and I was just curious to go take a look. Then I discovered behind this exhibit there's a very interesting project involved. In this episode, I just want to share about this project and all of thoughts I have about art and the space and how we perceive art in modern life. So in 2020, SKWAT, SKWAT is the project I discovered. In 2020, SKWAT started by Keisuke Nakamura. He started this project to occupy empty spaces in Harajuku and Aoyama and try to serve as a base for the transmission of culture and art, which is really interesting. Another interesting part is about the name SKWAT. SKWAT is from the English word squat, S-Q-U-A-T. I guess you already kind of thinking that's the same word because it's pronounced the same. The meaning is to occupy the uninhibited space. Apparently in the UK or Germany or Netherlands, it's very common to call a person who unlawfully stays at some empty buildings a squatter. And so now I'm at the space where SKWAT occupied. It was used to be a commercial facility called the Jewels of Aoyama. As you can see, this space is pretty unusual. There are a lot of rough paints on the wall. The whole installation is, you can see so much ducts exposed like it's under construction. And to be honest, there's something about seeing these really rough materials and space in Japan because everything is super delicate here, especially in this area where lots of high brands stores around. I came a couple of times to this area. You can see there are so many high-end brands around this area. So it's really interesting to see a space is like almost like under construction, almost vanished or untouched. So the first floor, I can see more like a basement. The space right now is exhibiting French architect Jean Prouvé's work. He's a very famous architect in France. So to see his work, mostly it will exhibit in the museum or galleries. At this location, you can freely use and work with his furniture. So this space, they call it P space. I guess it's from his name, and is fully equipped with his furniture. And as you go through the space, you can experience his art piece. To be honest, I got attracted by this exhibit because of this P space. It's such innovative way to showing the art piece. The fact that I can freely use the space and use the furnitures he make me curious more about who's making it, what's the design behind it, what's the story behind it. It gives another dimension of his work. It's not just looking at it, you can actually use it. I can definitely see that creates a different experience than whenever we see our piece in the museum or gallery. And it's a very fascinating topic I've been always thinking about. And as you go to this old-fashioned elevator, you're going up at the third floor, you can see this over 1,000 titles of art books. When I entered this bookstore, I was kind of shocked because I didn't expect it's connected with this exhibition through this old-fashioned elevator. And the first book I saw, a photo book about my favorite New Wave French director Jean Godard's archives. I was really excited and I tried to discover more about this space. So this bookstore called 12 Books is collaborating with SKWAT. So they're occupying this whole building as a way to create a community. It's almost like a community library here and exhibition downstairs with also some fashion brands. So it's cover up everything I love, the fashion, the photography, the architect, and the whole experience is completely free. I was looking at some of the interviews with the founder. What he said in one of the interview about the space, he said it feels like it's counterculture to create an incomplete space right in the middle of this luxury brands in Aoyama. And he's asking this question about what is the value of things like these flashy, glamorous things right now? Do we need them? And he hoped this project will raise some questions about it. So to me, enjoying seeing art and experience the fascinating combination between art and technology, also the creative projects that are happening everywhere in the world, is something I've always interested in. So that is the question I often got asked recently, why I'm not going virtual reality anymore. I guess it's just really because I moved to Tokyo and I discovered so many real experience, having so much fun, and that's exactly why I want to share that with you guys. I want you to enjoy the excitement with me as well in the real world. I have to say it's really it's a different experience to see how the city uses space to create interesting experience, and how you can touch those rough walls and to flip the pages of real art books, and then admire all the architectures that you can walk into. Every country also has its own way to design, to show and represent their art. Tokyo does have its own unique character, which is how they make art very accessible and approachable. For example, from a shopping mall to little cafe on the street or the free public art shows everywhere, you feel like you are access to so many beautiful designs, so many beautiful creations. Most of the time, you don't really have to pay tickets to see a famous designer's work. And then there are tons of art books and design books for you to check. I think I want to make another episode just to talk about that. If you're interested, please don't forget to subscribe my channel, and I'll keep you updated with a lot of fascinating experience I have in the city. There's one thing I want to talk about because I've lived in Canada for 18 years. In Toronto, there's a really famous museum called Akahan Museum. If you see from the background, I'll show you the photo. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot to go to see art shows and to admire architecture, like experience the culture. The problem with that place is it is really far from downtown. It's very hard to get access to it. It's not like something you walk in downtown and all of a sudden show up. You have to drive for a long time to get there, or you have to take transit with some rare bus that never show up. So that's what I mean by when I'm in Tokyo, I can see those kind of museum or beautiful architect. You can discover this kind of place very easy. So I can say the city itself is a space where each little space is a piece of artwork, and you can experience it, you can access to it easily. In each piece, you experience different culture, design, the space. It makes me kind of think, what would be the future to see art? And how people want to experience art is very important. It's not like a long time ago, really hard to reach to. It's no longer like that. And perhaps because Japan is, the space is quite limited, so the use of the spaces have to be very smart. But the fact that you can access to it everywhere, and art is not just inside a frame, that triggered me to think a lot about how art is always like a breathing air. If you see beautiful things all the time, you see cool designs all everywhere, you will tend to perceive it in your daily life. You'll be more open to creative things. I also think I want to make a new episode just to discuss how they use some small space to represent art in an innovative way, in a creative way. Anyway, there are tons of things that I still want to share with you guys in this channel. If you're interested and you want to know more, please comment on my video just to tell me what kind of topics you want me to discuss. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.